Hello and welcome to a new season of Quickies with Angela and Katie.
I'm Angela Dawn of Authentic Heart Coaching. I'm a tantric sex coach, and I help both individuals and couples rewrite their sexual story.
And I'm Katie Wilkinson of Katie Coaches. I help women and their partners create extraordinary relationships and erotic connection through women's pleasure.
And today we are kicking off season five of the podcast.
Yes, we are. And this season has a theme to it that I am so excited about. We are calling it a season of play.
Yeah, lighter than all the other seasons, bouncier.
Really
And
bouncy.
actually, on the bouncier note, y'all, the way we developed this season, I don't know what was happening, but Katie and I were messaging each other back and forth, and she was jumping on her trampoline at home while we were messaging each other. And we were talking about this upcoming season, and it was like, oh, I get it. Next season, theme is play, right? So literally, Katie's playing, and I'm like, that's it. That's what we're doing. So we are
That's how we should do
going.
all. That's how we need to do all of our brainstorming from now on.
All of our
Texting
brainstorming
back and
on
forth on the
trampolines.
trampoline.
I'm sure there's a neurology piece there and why the trampoline meetings work so well, but trampoline meetings, A plus. So we are going to be getting a little sillier this season, still deep, but way more giggles and I hope weirdness this season.
Definitely the weirdness. And honestly, for a lot of people, being deliberately playful with sex is almost kind of kinky for them. Like that alone
Mm-hmm.
feels edgy because it's so different than what most people are doing with their like super serious sex.
Yeah, yeah. So if play feels edgy for you, congratulations, you're already doing kink.
Just dipping the toe in here. So,
Mm-hmm.
before we formally dive into today's episode, let's give you a sense of where we're going this season. Let's lay out our roadmap.
Yeah, we're really thinking of this season as sort of three mini arcs of content. So, episodes 1 through 4, we're calling Play Foundations. These are going to be really accessible episodes, nervous system friendly stuff, just how to bring more play, a more playful attitude into your sex life, even if you feel shy or awkward or you consider yourself to be very vanilla. All right. And then when we get to the middle of the season, episodes 5 through 8, we're calling that playful edges. So we're going to get into talking about some light kink, power play, role play, other ways to kind of stretch your comfort zone with intention and always consent. And we're going to wrap up the season, episodes 9 through 12, calling it Playful Worlds. And we're going to get into fun stuff like play parties and toys and subcultures like furries and some of the bigger landscapes of erotic play that you can explore if that's your thing, if you want to, if you feel ready.
Yes, and we're anchoring all of this in three big ideas. The first one is nervous system regulation, because play is one of the fastest ways out of stress, out of
Mm-hmm.
freeze, out of performance anxiety. Second is shame repair, because when you're laughing, when you're experimenting, there's less room for those thoughts that are like, oh, I'm doing this wrong. Am I broken? Am I not sexy enough? And the third here is relational resilience, because couples who can play together usually recover from conflict more easily too.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to keep coming back to this idea that play is actually advanced intimacy. If you can be silly together, you can usually do the deep stuff together too.
And today we're starting with the foundation of everything else, sex as play. What does it actually mean to treat sex like play that you can relax into instead of a job or a test or a performance? So let's get into that.
Yeah. Yeah, a job, right? So when I think about the sex most people are having, I think of it as job interview sex.
Yeah, we know the vibe. Like you're sitting up straight, you're saying your lines, you're trying to give the right answer. You're like, did I do well? Was I enough? Was that enough? Like just, oh, that stress vibe.
Yeah,
And
so outcome focused, right? Like for most people, the goal in sex is to have an orgasm, right? Like it's very much about the performance. It's very much like you said, did I do it right? And when sex is all about a goal, it really just stops being an adventure and it starts feeling like pressure.
On the other hand, play sex is like, ooh, we have a body, we have time. Let's see what happens. Like there's curiosity, there's experimentation, there might be a little bit of chaos. It's like adult recess.
Absolutely. Yeah. Play sex is like where you can be messy, you can be imperfect, you can just be playful, right? You're not trying to pass an exam. You're not trying to get the job. You're trying to actually explore. You're trying to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. And for a lot of our listeners, this is already going to be a very radical idea. So many of us were taught that sex is something that you can fail at, that it's something you can be good or be bad at.
Exactly. I cannot tell you how many clients come to me, especially male clients, with the idea that sex is a performance. And it is so sad to just like hear that it's like a burden. It's a burden on them, right? So a big part of this episode is going to be about giving you all, our listeners, permission to move from goal-oriented sex, which sounds like, did we have an orgasm? Did we get to orgasm? So we're moving away from that goal-oriented sex and we're moving toward a play-oriented sex, which sounds more like, did we connect? Did we really explore? Did we enjoy being with each other?
It's such that mind shift of going from like, oh, I'm going to push this button in the correct order, make this happen. You're like, oh, instead it's more, what happens if I do this? What happens if we try that? There's a lot more freedom and like internal expression there. And I think that's really beautiful. So let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about
Yeah.
why all of this matters. Because this isn't just about having more fun in the bedroom, although, yes, we absolutely do
Yeah.
want that
Oh,
for
a
you.
thumbs up to more fun in the bedroom. Absolutely.
But that's not all of this.
No, it's not. I mean, play does a lot for your nervous system. If you can laugh, if you can make silly sounds, if you can wiggle around, if you can like try something ridiculous, then you know you're not in a freeze response, right? You're not shut down. Your nervous system is actually online and engaged in that present moment.
Yes, it's much gentler. And when you're playing, there's less room for shame, right? It's hard to
Hmm.
really spiral into thinking that you're terrible at something when you and your partner are laughing together because one of you just cracked a joke or made like a really bad French accent mid-kiss.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So, this idea of playing also can build relational resilience, right? So if you can joke, if you can just like kind of make eye contact and go, well, that was awkward. Should we try this again? Right. Then you know that your relationship can weather things that aren't picture perfect. Right.
Yeah. And this is especially true for long-term couples. If everything is very serious and high stakes all the time, sex can feel like this heavy burden, right? Whereas play lightens it enough that you actually want to enter that space together more often. It makes it fun, it keeps it fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're not saying that like all sex should be goofy. We're just saying that play is one of the doors into deeper pleasure and deeper intimacy and ultimately really deeper safety.
Yeah. So now let's talk about how to actually do this, especially if you're hearing us and going, I'm gonna be playful. It just feels kind of awkward.
Totally. Totally. And, for that, if you're just kind of dipping your toes into this idea of play, let's talk about micro play. So, tiny, low stakes ways of bringing play into your sex life without making it a big dramatic thing, right? So, for example, you could make a silly face during foreplay and like see if your partner laughs. Try that on. Do a few seconds of bad dancing naked before you get into bed. Maybe intentionally dropping in like one ridiculous line, like a cheesy pickup line or an over the top compliment.
I've done all of these. I'm also a big fan of cracking jokes in bed. I've been known to drop a killer SpongeBob reference from time to time. I sometimes quote movies. I've definitely quoted Austin Powers before.
Oh my
We should
gosh,
we should
yes.
honestly have our own show just about like the shit I say in bed. Like, as far as I'm concerned, my partner and I should both be belly laughing at least a few times before the night is out, or
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
way too serious if we don't have that. Like, I want that sort of lightheartedness, but in a very connected way, right? And
Yeah.
this like microplay, it can be just that simple too. You don't have to do this like intense role play and costumes. Like, you can, but you certainly don't have to. This can just be
Mhm.
being a little bit silly in the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, lighten things up. And when you brought up the Austin Powers, Katie, like my brain just went like, because I like one of my favorite sex scenes, and you're not even going to believe this, probably. No one's going to believe this. Listen up, everybody. One of my favorite sex scenes comes from the movie Anchorman,
Oh no.
which I will tell you that Anchorman is kind of everything not to do in a relationship. Like it's not a relationship movie, but the scene where the two of them like finally get together and have sex, and then like instead of a sex scene, it shows them kind of like in a cartoon world, like riding unicorns, and they're like, "I love you." That's the kind of sex I want everyone to have. Like
That's really cute.
leaping over rainbows on your unicorns together, saying "I love you" in the cheesiest way. Like that's what I want for everyone. Yeah, there's an Instagram reel in there. I've been thinking about it.
You need
Uh,
to make that. We need that.
I already found a clip of that piece of the Anchorman movie. The reel just has to be made, but that is what I want for everyone. I want everyone to have that kind of joyful sex, right? And when you're having that kind of joyful sex, even if it's just in these micro ways that we're talking about, you can just notice what happens in your body. You are going to notice that you automatically feel more relaxed. You're automatically more present. And especially when it comes to the joking piece, I feel like there's a closeness with your partner that just comes online.
There is, and you can feel that energy flowing more easily. Like, I definitely
Mhm.
have an easier time feeling very aroused when I'm already in a super happy, jokey, like playful mood. It just clears out everything. You're not thinking about the stresses of anything else happening in your life. There's no pressure. It just flows, right?
100%.
So as you're experimenting with this, if your partner looks confused, when you can literally just smile and be like, "Hey, I want to bring more play into our sex life. I think this would be fun for us." Even if it feels a little bit silly, what do you think? What if maybe we could try some of these things?
Mhm. Yeah, that honesty itself is a kind of play. Like, hey, yo, I'm a baby giraffe learning to walk here. Come wobble with me. Let us play this game together. Yeah.
Right. It puts you on the same level where you're like, "Hey, let's be silly together. This isn't just I'm awkward, they're awkward." Like, no, we're both just kind of trying things out and we're having fun. There's that connection piece, and that's so special.
Yeah. And I'm gonna story time really briefly. Which is I know Katie loves it when I story time. No one's gonna believe this story, to be honest with you. So when I was growing up, I went to Catholic school.
Oh no.
I might have I might have
Start of all great
become
stories.
what I might have become, like what is the Catholic school rule. But I literally remember having a class, and I was probably middle school age, right? It was not like something that was said to a, young child. But maybe I was in seventh or eighth grade and we were having whatever class might be the equivalent of sex ed in Catholic school, like loving relationships or something like that, right?
I didn't know you'd
And in
have an
the
equivalent of anything
yeah,
related to sex ed
oh
beyond like,
no,
okay,
I 100% had sex ed in Catholic school. I
amazing.
think things were more liberal when I was a kid than they are now,
Wow.
I think. But, debatable. Anyway, I did have some version of sex ed in Catholic school. The teacher of the class said, no kidding. She said, sex is play for adults. And I have never forgotten that. And
Oh
I
my God.
believe it is true.
We quote
I
that
got
all the
that.
time.
I got that from Catholic school sex ed. I don't know, maybe that teacher would have gotten fired if the Monsignor had heard it, but
Wow.
She said that, and it really stuck with me.
I need to
Yeah.
send this woman several bouquets of flowers. That's
Right. And here
amazing.
we
That
are.
is the
Here we
attitude
are.
everybody should have. Oh my
I
God.
agree. Yeah. Well, like now let's get down to it. How to do this. How do we do that?
Into the brass tacks. So here are a couple of more concrete like play experiments that you can try out before the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're listening and you're like, okay, I want to do something, like just tell me what. Okay,
Give
like
it
this
to
is for you.
me.
Yes. So experiment one. Experiment one is the 60-second kiss. You may have heard about this from other platforms, but all you have to do for the 60-second kiss is set a timer for 60 seconds and kiss. Just kiss. No rushing to the next thing, no hands down the pants. Just notice what it's like just to be in that kiss for a
Yes.
whole minute.
You can
Yeah.
giggle, you can breathe, you can pull back and gaze at each other and go back to it, but keep it to kissing only. It's a way to practice slowing down, which we always talk about, and letting things unfold in their own natural timing. This prevents you from rushing because you're just enjoying the kiss. You're enjoying the moment right then.
Yeah. All right. So that's experiment number one, 60-second kiss. Experiment number two is no penetration night. All right. So choose a night with your partner, agree in advance that there will be no penetration. The goal is not orgasm. The goal is connection and play. And see if you can make each other laugh while you're turned on.
Yes, you can massage, you can tease, you can do handsy things, mouth things, strip games, silly dares, whatever what happens when neither of you is trying to get to something. That's the whole point because so often people are just they're laying down and they're like, "All right, let's get from point A to point B. This is a quickie, whatever." As opposed to being like, "No, let's play with everything else. Let's really bring our bodies online and be
Mm,
together." It's such a lighter, better feeling than just like, ugh, racing right through it. You really get to
yeah.
savor
I mean,
it.
so many people, we talk about that. We've been beating the drum for 4 years. Like, take your freaking time, people, right? And having a night where the rule is no penetration, you're essentially like getting into a whole night of foreplay, which is amazing. And, maybe the penetrative sex you have the next day will be top notch, right?
Yeah, and especially for couples where if like you're not having as much sex as you'd like to, or like if penetrative sex is a really stressful area, this can actually make you want it
Yes.
more by agreeing you're
Hmm.
absolutely not going to have it. Isn't
Absolutely.
that
Yeah. I
fun?
mean, there's so much nuance to the saying that penetrative sex is off the table. And I mean, technically, oral is penetrative. You make your own rules, but
It depends what you're
yes.
putting where. You
Yeah.
guys can define it however you
You
want.
you guys define it, but I think, taking P and B sex off the table, taking anal off the table, and doing everything but those two things, I think you're gonna get somewhere really exciting. So experiment number three is one playful twist. So like the next time you're in a sexy situation, the next time you're getting intimate with your partner, just add one playful element, right? That could be a new nickname. It could be a playful lick somewhere silly. Don't ask my partner about what I do to his belly button. That's all I have to say. It could be putting on that fake accent that we talked about earlier. It could be making up like a rating of each other's kissing skills, right? Like nothing that would hurt their feelings, but like my favorite dessert times 12 is your kiss, right? So just treat it like an experiment and just test out some playfulness and see what it feels like.
Yeah, and if this feels awkward at first, which it might for some people, that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. That just means you're growing this new muscle.
Yeah.
It's going to take
And
practice,
if you,
but it's the fun kind of practice.
yes, I mean, with anything that you want to get good at takes practice, my friends. Even sex, it just
Especially
takes
sex.
practice. Yeah.
Especially sex.
Yes. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, can someone just like give us a game so we don't have to come up with all of this ourselves? I have got you on that. I
Honey, you should
have
ask.
yeah, right? I've got the games on my website. If you go to my free stuff, it's all there. So I have a free downloadable, what I call incremental intimacy bingo game on my website. The idea behind that game is really simple. Instead of jumping to huge sexual changes or challenges, you take the next logical, heartfelt step towards intimacy together. You try something, you feel into it. If it works, you weave it into your routine. There's three different levels of board. The boards, you can use them to just talk about what your next step is, or you can play it like an actual bingo game. You can use it as a menu of intimacy ideas. You could print it out and not even tell your partner you printed it out and just take some ideas from it. There are three levels to play with, plus a blank board. So you can choose your own adventure as a couple. Like the first board is more non-sex touching type connective activities. And then it gets a little spicier on board two and pretty spicy on board three. And there's a blank board. You can put the things that you know you like and you know your partner likes on that blank board.
And for folks who feel safer and turned on with a little bit more structure, hello, my fellow neurodivergents, or couples who've been struggling with intimacy, Angela has another helpful freebie for you too.
Yeah, I also have some free structured spicy intimacy games that you can download. And the idea here is that sometimes planning for connection actually helps to bring relaxation, right? So when you have a game or framework, clear boundaries, there's less pressure to perform or wing it, and there's more room to just be together in the container that you're creating here. So these games are designed to reduce performance anxiety, give you like clear prompts, encourage you to try new things in ways that feel safe and reliable. And these are especially supportive for neurodivergent partners. That's why I created them, right? They're also great for couples facing intimacy challenges who might need more predictability around touch and sex. Folks that have had trauma definitely like predictability around touch and sex, right? There's a lot of us out there that like that predictability. Gaming can help. So we'll link to that incremental intimacy bingo and the spicy games in the show notes if you want some fun, free, low pressure structure to get started.
So, as we start to wrap up this episode, this is how we are starting our season of play with simple, radical idea that sex can feel like whimsical play and less like a performance review.
Right. So over the next few episodes in our like play foundations mini arc, we're going to talk about things like primal sounds, sacral laughter, bonding through shared adventure, and creativity as sexual energy.
And then later in the season, we'll move into playful edges, which will include discussions of power play, role play, pet names, genital worship, all that goodness. And finally, we'll explore playful worlds like parties, toys, furries, bigger adult play spaces that you can explore.
If today's episode sparked something in you, maybe you realized how serious sex has felt or how much pressure you've been under, I'd love to invite you into a deeper conversation. I offer private sessions for individuals and couples where we can look at your patterns, your desires, and help you rewrite your sexual story with more play or more pleasure, and certainly more authenticity. And you can find details about that in the show notes.
And if you're a couple who wants to bring better touch into the bedroom, we have our beloved on demand video class, Pussy Whispering for Couples. It's all about understanding women's bodies, what our bodies actually need for deep, luscious pleasure so that
Mm.
you can play more and stress less.
And don't forget, if you want the playful support that I mentioned earlier, you can download my free incremental intimacy bingo game or the structured intimacy spicy games that are designed to give you gentle, fun frameworks so you're not starting from scratch. Those links are in the show notes too.
So go try that 60-second kiss, go have a no penetration night, go be a little bit silly. You deserve sex that feels fun.
And with that said, we'll see you next time on Quickies with Angela and Caity.